Hey viewers, welcome to Chunner Checks It Out. My name's Chunner. In this video, I'm going to be watching Sentenced to be a Hero, Episode 12. But we still have Spriggan running around along with Mihail Zhirkov. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the last episode of the season, and I'm not sure if we're going to conclude both of those stories, but let's see if we get back to some story. Yo, let's check it out. They did it. Oh, he's doing it more often now. Where did all the bodies go? This is Spriggan. Sob. But how did she parry? Did Teodorita parry that? Oh, Teodorita did parry that. Did she know? I don't think she knew, did she? She could sense Bujin before, but she couldn't sense Spriggan? You're not gonna chase Spriggan? Why didn't you chase Spriggan? The uncle is working with Mihail Zhirkov? Ah, it's Rhino.
実は魔王現象が周囲を侵食する際には独自のなんというか波があるんだ。同族ならそれを捉えられる。部隊の中では最もそこが浅くて同族殺しだ。僕はそれに快楽を覚える性質があってね。そうそう。さっきから君のその声、なかなかいいね。
Oh. Wait a minute. Rhino's a demon blight? Why did... Okay. I am the demon blight Pakpuka. So do demon blights not get along? Why didn't Pakpuka save Spriggan? And I thought Rhino volunteered. Didn't you get beat by... Oh, blood puppet. Bujin survived. That's funny that Bujin survived and Spriggan got taken out. Shots fired. He's Mihail Zhirkov? 7110.
そのような部隊は存在しませんでした。大事な者たちのためだよ。動かないでください、叔父上。私と私の家族。叔父上。パトーシェ。人類はやがて敗北する。He's a coexister. せめて心の正しい者と私が愛する家族は無事であってほしい。He's literally doing the same thing that the Adventure Guild dude is doing. 成長しなさい、パトーシェ。家族を愛し、身近な人々を愛するのだ。To live in a
demon run world? Live in the world of fairies? Don't abandon your humanity. Okay. So the uncle, High Priest Marlin, decides to become one with the coexisters because he feels that humanity is already lost and the demons have won. Okay, that's a great twist, but he says he's doing that to protect his family, and yet he brings out the laser gun to attack Patosh, who's his family. He's just protecting himself. He's not protecting his family. You say what you want, but you don't do what you say.
お前のことは娘のように思っていたよ。
That was intense. Rhino got taken over by a demon blight, so this demon blight killed Rhino and has now assumed the form of him, just like Spriggan assumed the form of the daughter. But the Rhino demon blight, I guess they don't get along? Why aren't they working together? And the thing that Mahil Zirkov was the uncle High Priest Marlin. Only Captain Kivia would have known that, but the uncle wanted to save himself, I guess?
いやー、ライノーさんは放っておいていいんじゃないっすか。火事場泥棒でもしてるか、フェアリー捕まえていたぶってるとか。
でも、この町への攻撃は陽動でした。
It was a diversion from the coexisters.
魔王現象アバドン、第9世騎士団の防衛網を破り、第二王都を吸収したそうよ。
They're attacking somewhere else.
第二王都が陥落した。
Second capital.
身内殺したんだってな。神殿のお偉いさんだろう。
すみません、少し開けてください。
Is this gonna end with the execution of Captain Kivia, or is Captain Kivia going to become a sentenced hero? Wouldn't that be interesting? Captain Kivia becomes a sentenced hero.
なぜマーレン・キビア大司祭と歩兵長ラジート・ヒスローを殺害した。
おじいは強制派の一。
違う。
100% becoming a sentenced hero. 99.9%. Not 100%. 99.9%. I'll bet she becomes a sentenced hero right now.
だから人類を裏切り、おじと部下を殺した。その事実を正確に証言することができれば。
Is it completely corrupt, or can't they see the evidence that she didn't blast his arm off? High Priest Marlin had the gun and shot the second lieutenant while she cut his arm off.
なぜ裁判を行わない。法廷で話をさせろ。
Because you're a coexister.
明らかに個人の利得の範囲を超えた行動だ。まさに英雄としての信念。これから選択肢を提示させてもらう。道は2つだ。1つ、このまま強制派の一員として死刑になる。2つ、懲罰勇者となって魔王現象と戦い続ける。
You have become a sentenced hero.
勇者とは、勇者系とは何なのだ。
大昔の大戦初期は異世界から英雄を召喚していたんだが、どうも医師のこの世界で死んだ人間を英雄として呼び出すことにしたんだ。第一の女神の能力も完全ではない。何度も蘇生を繰り返すとどうなるかはあなたも知っているはずだ。They lose their memories and go crazy. They become like Tatsuya. They forget. They go crazy. They lose their sense of self.
もう一度戦うことを許されるなら、私は
誰とも知れない人々のためにこそ戦うと誓う。勇者になろう。
That episode of Sentenced to be a Hero makes me very, very happy. I knew in the last episode they were just trying to do some visual action, which is great. Shows are anime, so good visuals are good. But there wasn't a whole lot of story going on because they saved it all for this episode. There were so many twists that were happening. I'm assuming that this was the last episode of this season. It looked like definitely a season finale, and it was a great season. This last episode had a couple twists. There are some questions I do have. So going over the episode, we had Spriggan, who was trying to attack Xylo and Tererita, and for some reason, Tererita could sense Bujim, but she couldn't sense that Spriggan was a demon blight. So I'm not sure what was happening there, but she was able to parry the attack, which is great. And Sav came in and took out Spriggan's arm or leg or half their body. And then Spriggan jumped through the window and nobody went to go chase after Spriggan. So I'm not sure if they knew that Rhino was already chasing after Spriggan, but why didn't Xylo at that time? You were right there. Half his body's gone. Why didn't you go chase after Spriggan? That's kind of strange to me. Then we have this weird interaction with the body of Spriggan, who's crawling away, basically crawling through the sewers. So if Xylo wanted to go chase after Spriggan, he would have easily have caught Spriggan, unless Spriggan dropped down some kind of hole or something that I don't remember. But Rhino caught up with Spriggan, and Rhino revealed that Rhino was a demon blight like Spriggan who could transform, and killed Rhino at some point in time, and it has assumed the form of Rhino, but is some other demon blight. And for some reason they're not working together, so this demon blight who's Rhino takes out Spriggan. Why aren't they working together? Maybe there's hierarchies in the demon blight. Then we have Bujim, who's walking away. He made a puppet clone of himself, and Xylo thought that he took out Bujim, but Bujim actually survives. So I think that's kind of a weird twist there, that Bujim survived and Spriggan didn't survive, because Bujim was the underling of Spriggan. Then we have the whole interaction with Coach Captain Kivia and the uncle, High Priest Marlin. Captain Kivia finds out from Frenchie that High Priest Marlin is actually Mikhail Zirkov. He was using that as a false identity years ago, and something about the pronunciation of different north side and east side, and she remembered also back in her day when she was young. But High Priest Marlin, it seemed like, took really good care of Captain Kivia, and you can see that through kind of the backstory that they gave us throughout the first season. So Captain Kivia respected High Priest Marlin, and for some reason High Priest Marlin becomes a coexister. He must have been a coexister then, so I'm not sure why High Priest Marlin would want Captain Kivia to join the military in the first place, the Knights, the Royal Guard, because he's a coexister. Why would you want your relative who you're taking in to become a knight? Is that so that you can promote them and then get them on their side? Either way, it ends up in this situation, and High Priest Marlin is a coexister, so he's trying to make a deal with the Demon Blight, and it seems that he has, and he's moving up in the coexister rankings to protect his family, who is literally Captain Kivia. Does he have other family? I don't know. Maybe. Captain Kivia's mom and dad, I think, were dead now. So, unless High Priest Marlin is married, Captain Kivia is all the family that he has. Maybe he has other family. I don't really remember that story. But from what you're getting, it's basically Captain Kivia and High Priest Marlin. They're the family. So, when Captain Kivia accuses High Priest Marlin of being a coexister, High Priest Marlin decides to try and kill her? That's just some twisted thing that I'm not sure what he was thinking of, because the whole reason he wants to be a coexister and move up is to protect Captain Kivia and himself. But now you're trying to kill Captain Kivia? You're trying to kill Patosh? And then, so her lieutenant steps in, he gets blasted, he's gone now, and Captain Kivia cuts off High Priest Marlin's arm, and then he goes to throw the knife, and she dodges the knife, and then takes him out. And very dramatic, for sure. Definitely, especially on her conscience, to realize that the person that you grew up with, who you raised, who taught you, who convinced you to join the Knights in the first place, to follow your own dreams, you just took him out because he was on the opposite side. Why was he on the opposite side? So I guess that was his way of trying and convince Captain Kivia to become part of the Coexisters as well, but it seemed like he didn't try very hard. So Captain Kivia gets captured, and seems like she's kind of falsely accused. But then we have this kind of story about why the Sentence Heroes are around, and this Isekai story. It didn't really follow the whole thing. But also the attack here was a diversion to attack the second capital, which the second capital got taken out. So yeah, it's looking bad here for humanity, because the second capital is probably the second strongest capital. So one of the big major cities got taken out. She decides to become a hero, a sentenced hero. But the heroes originally were isekai'd, and I'm not really sure. I didn't really follow or understand what was going on there. They're raising the dead, so they're necromancers, but they're also being isekai'd. And then you have the book goddess, who reverts their memories, but the book goddess and the first goddess is the ones who are doing the resurrections, but they can only have so much space in their memory to remember everything. So I'm wondering what they're like. I feel like the first hero or the first goddess is yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like she wouldn't be royalty. She might act like she's royalty, but I doubt that she's royalty. I feel like other people around her are treating her like royalty. And who's to say that these other goddesses aren't infiltrated to become sentenced heroes? So now Captain Kivia has to kill herself to become a sentenced hero. However it works, I'm not really sure. It seems like that's how it works. You have to kill yourself to cut off your neck, and then they can put the tattoo on your neck and be collared, and then you have to continue. Then she made the choice to either get executed as a fake coexister, who she wasn't really. She was basically getting the blame by somebody up above her to say that she would become the coexister, or she becomes a sentenced hero and she's still no longer gonna be called a coexister, but she's able to continue fighting the demon Blight. So she's gonna be like Xylo. And it was Frenchie that was giving the information as well, that the second capital was attacked. Sorry, this is kind of jumping around here. I feel like, wasn't there a feature site goddess or something? So the whole deal with Rhino was just kind of a little strange. I thought that Rhino volunteered to become a sentenced hero, but in actuality, he's saying, or his demon self is saying, that he wasn't volunteered. He was sentenced because he liked killing people, which that's definitely his personality. He definitely likes killing people. But is that because he's a demon, or is that because that's his personality? I feel like maybe that is his personality. Yeah, I feel like maybe I got lost in translation there of Rhino volunteering to become a sentenced hero. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's like what they're told to believe, that he was volunteered, but he didn't actually volunteer. He was just like to kill people, and then they forced him to become a sentenced hero. And with these sentenced heroes, obviously they can only have so many sentenced heroes. So now Captain Kivia is going to be part of Xylo's group. I like the world building. The world building is fantastic. They did a great job in this season. And aside from the last episode, which was just action, which is fine. I mean, there's a bunch of episodes that had a bunch of action, but I feel like the last episode had zero world building, zero progression of story, and just a lot of action. Whereas this one, it was some action, but it's more story driven. So yeah, very good show. I would definitely continue watching this. I like it a lot. Feel like there's a lot of places that it could go, a lot of twists and turns that could happen. And there are some things that I'm questioning, but ultimately it's a good show. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.